Throughout history, certain leaders have been remembered for their power, their influence, and their destruction. They reshaped nations, led massive armies, and left lasting marks on the world, often through violence. But one name stands above them all: Genghis Khan. The Great Khan wasn't born into power. He was actually born as a boy named Temujin around the year 1162 in what is now Mongolia. When he was just 9 years old, his father, who was a minor tribal leader, was poisoned. After that, his family was abandoned by their tribe and left to survive on their own. Growing up, Temujin faced extreme hardships. His family had to hunt and forage for food just to stay alive. At one point, he even killed his own half-brother during a fight over resources, showing how serious survival was for him. But over time, he began to build power. In his early 20s, he started uniting different Mongol tribes using alliances, marriages, and force. Then, in 1206, when he was 44 years old, after years of fighting and gaining control, he was given the title Genghis Khan, which means universal ruler, officially marking the start of the Mongol Empire. Known as one of the most feared conquerors in history, his legacy is often defined by brutality. But is that the full story? Genghis Khan is often remembered as a brutal ruler who conquered vast lands through violence and destruction. His military campaigns led to the deaths of millions and the destruction of entire cities across Asia and Europe. But this is only one side of his legacy. Under his rule, trade routes like the Silk Road became safer and more active than ever before. Goods, ideas, cultures were able to move across continents, connecting the East and the West. Historian Jack Weatherford argues that the Mongol Empire helped create stronger global connections through trade and communication. This raises an important question. Was Genghis Khan simply a brutal conqueror, or something a little bit more complex? Scholar Timothy May explains that Genghis Khan was an extremely skilled military strategist who built a highly organized and disciplined army. His leadership and planning allowed his forces to succeed against much larger enemies. During a period known as Pax Mongolica, the empire created stability across much of Eurasia. According to sources like Encyclopedia Britannica, this stability helped protect trade routes and encourage economic growth. Historian Morris Rosabi presents a balanced view, showing that while the Mongols were destructive, they also allowed trade and communication to expand. Primary sources like The Secret History of the Mongols also reveal how Genghis Khan built loyalty, leadership, and friendship amongst his people. One of the lesser-known ways the Great Khan expanded his power wasn't just through battle, but through his family. Instead of just taking over land and ruling it directly, he would marry his daughters off to powerful men in the regions he conquered. At first, it looked like a normal alliance, but then he would send those men, now his sons-in-law, to the front lines of his dangerous battles, and a lot of the time they did not make it back. When they died, his daughters were left in positions of power, often ruling the Khan's new regions as queens. Through this method, Genghis Khan was able to extend his influence far beyond what his armies alone could control. This just shows that his power didn't only come from skilled military planning and combat, it also came from planning ahead in ways most people don't think about. Still, the violence of his conquest cannot be ignored. Many sources emphasize the massive destruction caused by his campaigns, and why he's often remembered as ruthless. Yet historians like Nikolai de Cosmo argue that the Mongol Empire helped connect different regions of the world in a new way. This movement of ideas, goods, and people played a role in early globalization. Genghis Khan's impact can still be seen today in global trade systems and cultural connections. So how should we understand his legacy? Genghis Khan was both a brutal conqueror and an effective leader. His actions caused destruction, but they also shaped global connections that still influence the modern world. His legacy reminds us that history is often more complex than it first appears. One of the most important parts of Genghis Khan's legacy was a period that I previously mentioned called Pax Mongolica. During this time, the Mongol Empire created a level of stability across Eurasia that had never been seen before. Trade routes were protected, allowing merchants, travelers, and ideas to move safely. This led to the exchange of technology, religion, language, and culture on a massive scale. Innovations like papermaking and gunpowder spread more rapidly because of these connections. Even famous travelers like Marco Polo were able to journey across continents under the Mongol protection. But these same connections also had negative consequences. The movement of people and goods helped spread diseases like the Black Death, which devastated populations across Europe and Asia. This shows how Genghis Khan's impact was not just powerful, but complicated.
He also introduced laws, systems, and other things that helped maintain order across his vast empire. Unlike many rulers, Genghis Khan supported religious tolerance, allowing different beliefs to exist under his rule. Many historians argue that these systems helped lay the foundation for what we now recognize as globalization. His empire brought both destruction and connection, two forces that shaped the modern world. In the end, Genghis Khan cannot be defined by a single label. He was both a conqueror who caused immense destruction and a leader who reshaped the world in lasting ways. Sources include works by Jack Weatherford, Morris Rosabi, Timothy May, and others. Thank you for watching.